Lord to goodness, not again. Howdy, Drago.
Morning, Curly. Is that the island of Haleakaloha?
Yep.
We ain't stopping, huh?
Nope.
You'll remember when I signed on this bucket, you promised that we'd be at Haleakaloha by the 7th.
Well, this is the 7th.
Ah, well, what do you know? Me, boat's Gil Hooley, 6 hitches in Uncle Sam's Navy, and here I get shanghaied, huh? Can you imagine what they'll say at Pearl? Yeah, when this news gets to Dago, huh? That'll be a little bit funny, I'll bet. Yeah. Now, good thing I got a sense of humor, huh? Permission to leave the ship.
Makes 7 times this month he come home, Swoggles.
6.
7.
6. Once was his birthday. That don't count. Give me my buggy whip. Didn't have anything for breakfast but 2 raw eggs and a mug of honey.
No.
Curly!
Yes, boss.
Don't say it's a fine morning or I'll shoot you.
Hey! I'll bring you before the mast. I'll throw you in the brig, you little mutineer.
Daddy! Hi, Dad! Oh. Hi, Pop! Hi, Dad! I caught a fish! Me too!
Sit down in a boat.
Ho, ho! Sister Angelique, Sister Mary Margaret.
Doc.
Hi, sailor.
Sister Angelique. Would you accept some nice fish from a sinner?
Dieu accepte la charité de plus humble. Alors vous êtes le bienvenu, Monsieur Michel. N'oubliez pas que notre Seigneur a été crucifié entre deux voleurs.
Was that good or bad, sister?
Very good, Michael.
Thank you.
Hey, get back in that boat, you little pirate. You about ready to take off, Doc?
A few calls to make first.
Oh. How long you figure to be gone?
Oh, a week, maybe 2. Never can tell what's going to happen on the outer islands.
Right.
Look in on the kids occasionally, will you?
Don't worry, don't I always? All right, Sam, shove off.
Get out of here, Bunyan. Good morning.
Morning.
Carlos, what are you doing up there?
I hope I get it this time, Mr. McLintock. My brothers, they got the big hats already.
All right, let them have at it. Get over it.
Did you let me drive? You promised me you would sometime.
No, yeah.
Boss, you better watch that turn onto the road. You're gonna kill both of us one of these days. You got cattle in the bank, boss.
To the Minister of Foreign Affairs, from the Governor of Haleakaloha, French Polynesia. Subject: transfer. My dear cousin, once again I appeal to you to be rescued from this wretched island. If you could but see me living under the most primitive conditions, The food is deplorable. The heat unbearable. And the plumbing...
Now, boss, there's one old pensioner I wished you'd pass up.
How can one bathe when there's no hot water? Let's see, where was I?
Hot water, sir.
In conclusion, my dear cousin, I respectfully request transfer to,
Miami Beach?
Splendid, Miami Beach. Or possibly, Hollywood, California.
Woo!
Signed, Marquis Entre de Lage, Baron Fienne, Officier de Légion d'Honneur, Chevalier de Mars, so forth and so on.
Here we go.
Uncle
Hello,
Andy!
Sam.
Hi, Uncle Andy. Hi, Uncle Andy.
Hello, Andre.
Maison.
How's the coffee holding
my
up?
dear? Right over there. Help yourself. How was the fishing?
I caught one. Looky. That big.
And to you, my dear Guns, a very, very happy birthday.
Birthday?
Oh, Uncle Andy, you spoiled our surprise, and I baked a birthday cake.
With 100 candles. With 150.
Oh, thanks, thanks. Birthday. It's a real surprise. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have a nice quiet party tonight
Oh,
and a big batch of lemon. Aid. Gilhooly.
Gilhooly.
Oh, Uncle Guns, please don't fight. Don't spoil our party.
You stay out of this. Go and Uncle Guns knock his block off.
I'll knock both these blocks off. Come on, kids, you're going home.
Goodbye, Uncle Andy. Hey.
Continue.
Well, as usual, when there's dirt to be done, you hire me. If it's some simple, honest matter, you hire Pennyfeather, and Pennyfeather. Now, the fact of the matter is that with the death of your great Aunt Priscilla, this fellow out in the South Seas, this Dr. William Dedham, your father, Miss Dedham.
I have never met my father. His name is not mentioned in the family.
Well, now, be that as it may, unless you can find some way to keep him from inheriting this additional stock, you'll find yourself mentioning his name, and quite often, because he'll be the big he-bull in that shipping company of yours. I hope you ladies don't find my language too colorful. Now, there's a clause in the will. It's in a good many of these Boston wills, although civilized people don't put such drivel in wills anymore. But it says if anyone can prove that the heir is not of good moral character, according to Boston standards, he may be deprived of his inheritance. Well, now, if this Dr. William Dedham has been living on some South Sea island with those native girls, Well, what I mean is, the man has probably behaved in a way that wouldn't suit Boston. Now, if you can prove that, you can cheat him out of his stock and his money. Anyone object to me using the word cheat?
We are waiting.
That is all. You'll have my bill in the morning. Bon voyage, Miss Denham.
Comments? Great Uncle Sedley?
No comment. With reservations.
Be pleased to take over. Gentlemen, you may go in now.
Bunny?
Yeah.
I knew where I'd seen his face before.
Well, now, be that as it may.
No time. He's just been around town a couple of years.
Oh, you have no milk of human kindness.
Morning, Mr. McLintock.
Morning, Bunny.
Well, I can see you're in good health.
Never felt better. Contrary to what you may hear.
Me, my kidneys ain't what they used to be, and my liver's been leaving me billies.
Drago?
Yeah.
Hello, Ben.
Hey, McLintock.
Drago, throw that in the buggy.
Yes, sir. It's a scrubby bunch of Sooners, huh?
That ought to make Douglas happy, lining his pockets with land fees.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know what you're gonna do, Ben. Me, I do nothing.
200 families. Quarter of beef a week per family. If they last 2 years, that can be a sizable number.
I got 20 head to 1 of any other brand on the Mesa Verde. I'm not hollering.
Some of us haven't got all the money in the world. Some of us ain't old and tired and feel like being put upon.
You interest me, young Ben. Go on.
So the first time I find one of our hides wearing our brand hung on one of them settlers' fences, I aim to kill me a plowboy. You do what you want, McLintock. We'll do what we want.
Ah, the police. Well, if it ain't my old pal Bo's, yes. Your passport, Gilhooly. Naturally, and too much landing fee, huh? Hi, Padre. How's the roof on the chapel holding up?
Gilhooly. His first word, and I am disarmed. Here I have come to demand your deportation. And you ask about the roof.
Well, why not? I paid for it, didn't I?
He gave the dough away as usual. And the chapel still leaks as usual.
Even more, as usual. But what could I do? We are again at swept Rorangi. There was great need. But what is a roof against starvation? Stop! Stop it! Allez, to the chapel with me.
Oh, now, wait, Padre. You wouldn't want me to catch a cold and leaky chapel, would you?
Full grown now, GW. He's a half owner of the spread. I made him a full partner the day the doc gave me the long face.
Well, you want him to vote the first time this territory becomes a state, don't you?
Of course I do.
These settlers get burned out, there'll be a lot of hollering that this country's too wild to be a state. We'll go on being a territory some more, with a lot of political appointees running it according to what they learned in some college where they think that cows are something you milk, Indians are something in front of a cigar store. I'm looking to you to hold young Ben down.
I'll do what I can.
Come on over to the house once in a while. We'll rack up a few hands of stud.
GW, that'll be just fine.
Uncle Guns, you promised.
Oh, no, everything's gonna be all right, little Annie. I swear, word of honor. Now, you go on in there and take the kids. And practice the piano. Get a good thick frosting on that cake.
Donovan! Guns! Where is he?
Gone fishing. Hey, you got a new mirror.
Yeah, I figured up once. Counting all them broken mirrors, you and Donovan got 63 years of bad luck coming.
Hey, that's mine.
That's busted. That's still busted.
Where's Donovan keep his clothes?
Same place. Why not? The lug owes me one. It's my birthday.
Pick out a nice black one.
One you can be buried in.
It's a nice morning, ain't it, boss?
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Like that again, eh? Here's something that'll cheer you up. About 1,000 head. I figure they'll bring about 1,250.
They're not as fat as I'd like to ship. They all off the North Range?
Yes.
Tommy! Oh!
Lord, oh, baby.
Oh, Tommy.
Come back to marry me.
Oh, now, look, Flora, you know, you're the love of my life. You're the only dame that meant anything to me, but...
I know.
I already told you, I think that... I got a wife in Hoboken.
And San Pedro, and San Diego, and Norfolk, Virginia.
That's right. You wouldn't want me to go up on a bigamy charge, would
Pardon
you?
me, Fleur. Gilhooly? Gilhooly?
Gilhooly. Gilhooly.
Oh, sugar pie.
No trouble.
settlers. Every one of them with a plow and a Bible. Not the slightest idea what terrain is for.
Drago! Drag out that hog leg. Yes, sir. Give me some attention. Yeah! People! 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 Come on, all of you. Gather around. People, come on. Gather around.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. My suit.
You wouldn't want me to look like a bum, would you? I'm your guest.
22 years, huh, Boats? Huh? Great.
Pals.
No fights.
My guns, no fights. 22 years. Tradition, Legion.
Legend.
And the crowd.
Hey, Monk. You... Why don't you throw that guy in the brig in a hoosegow?
I'm off duty guns.
You're always off duty. Not the brandy, you dope.
Sorry.
Watch his left, Tiger! Watch his left!
Oh,
Qu'est-ce que vous faites là au lieu d'apprendre vos leçons? Vous serez payés de chansons, tous les deux.
They went that way.
Doctor!
All right, come on, knock it off. Come on, knock it off, you two, as you were. Look at you, you're worse than a couple of kids. Why now, as you were. You're at attention, Gilhooly.
Gilhooly?
Gilhooly. Gilhooly.
Oh, sugar pie.
Now, what started this rhubarb? The fact that you both happen to be born on the same day?
Permission to speak.
Shoot.
What started it was this knothead tried to push a hoochie-coochie dancer off on me in Panama.
Gilhooly?
Gilhooly?
Gilhooly. Gilhooly.
Oh, sugar pie.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Nothing except a marriage license and a wedding ring through my nose went with it.
Mabel.
What?
Pearl Harbor, sir. A dame named Mabel. M-A-Y-B-L-L-E.
I never knew anybody named Mabel in my whole life.
That's right. Her name wasn't Mabel.
All right, that's enough from the both of you. The simple and obvious fact is that neither of you remembers what started this ridiculous annual birthday brawl.
It will come to me, sir.
I'm sure it will. All right, now, come on, get out of there. Both of you.
Cindy Lou?
Betty.
Jesus.
Come on now, here we are, the three of us, on one of the most beautiful islands on Earth. It's a fine day and the birthday of two men I've always been proud to call my friends. We've been through one war together, bad and bloody days. Now let's put an end to this fight. Fleur, break out the beer. All right, now shake hands.
Yeah, the Doc's a great guy. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you both.
I'm McLintock. You people plan to homestead and farm the Mesa Verde.
Yes, sir. The government give us each 160 acres.
The government never gave anybody anything. Some years back, a lot like you came in. You had a pretty good first year, good summer, easy winter. But the next year, the last rain was in February. And by June, even the jackrabbits had sense enough to get off the mesa.
Miss Amelia Dedham, daughter of Dr. Dedham, is arriving ETA?
Estimated time of arrival.
Oh, thank you. ETA 1400, signed Captain Martin's ship Arana. Well, there it is, gentlemen. Of course, this is for you, the citizens of the United States, to decide. It is not my pigeon. The question on my mind is, does this Miss Dedham know about her father?
You mean the kids? Well, let her find out.
Ah, so you share my opinion that she doesn't?
Well, I can't see Doc Dedham hiding them in the jungle like they were something to be ashamed of.
No, I don't know. Now, I was in the doc's ship.
Oh,
well, look, this dame's from Boston, remember?
Yes. And without warning, meeting a father she's never even seen and being confronted by 3 children. His children by some native woman.
A native woman? We know who she was.
Oh, my dear Michael, of course, Manolani. We all love her.
Native woman.
But how can this girl help reaching all the wrong conclusions?
Hey, I got an idea. You know how I am when it comes to broads, huh?
Yeah.
So I meet her on the beach and I invite her up here.
And then what?
What do you mean I slip her a Mickey?
Gentlemen, I shall explain on the way.
On the way where?
To the house of Dr. Dedham, naturally.
Well, you know these wily Chinese.
Well, you were a
No,
big...
ship mate.
Folks, do you know who that is? That's McLintock. George Washington McLintock.
I told him that, Douglas.
He controls the water rights on 200 square miles of range. You know that lumber you got? It came from his land. Cut by his loggers and milled in his mills.
Douglas?
Hi, Uncle Guns.
Hi. Audrey.
Michelle.
Sounds great, Lilani. I'd like to talk to you.
Sure.
2 and 2 is 4. 4 and 4 is 8. Keep it up. Keep it up. So you and the kids must move in with me and pretend you're mine.
But, Uncle Guns, I don't understand. First you tell me I have a sister coming from America, and then you say we are to leave our home.
Only until your father returns.
But, Uncle Guns, wouldn't it be proper for me and my brother and sister to welcome her here in the absence of my father?
The child is right. What you propose is monstrous.
I hate this as much as you do, Padre. But I'd cut my right arm
For a few days,
Doc.
let's put it this way, Padre. Remember we was clobbering nips here in that delay in action? It's the same principle, only this time we're fighting for the doc. We're trying to buy him a little time so he can tell her in his own way.
I understand.
I come close to killing you a couple of times when we were younger. Saddens me I didn't.
It's gonna be all right. Don't worry, just trust me. It's gonna be all right.
Can you imagine a man who owns all that? Oh, and mines, too. I forgot to mention them. All that. And he's begrudging poor people a measly 160 acres.
That right, Mr. McLintock? You begrudge us a little free land?
There's no such thing as free land. If you make these homesteads go, you'll have earned every acre of it. But you just can't make them go on the Mesa Verde. God made that country for buffalo. Serves pretty well for cattle. But it hates the plow. And even the government should know that you can't farm 6,000 feet above sea level.
Any trouble, Mr. McLintock?
No trouble, Jeff.
Let go, you starboard anchor! Come on, look lively, flash your eyes. Step to it! Ahoy, Mike!
I don't see your father here, Miss Dedham.
My father's not expecting me. He doesn't know I'm coming.
I'm sorry. I took the liberty of sending him a radio.
Thank you very much, Captain.
Excuse me, miss.
Skipper! Hi! Have you a Miss Amelia Dedham from Boston aboard? Aloha! Name is Donovan. Welcome to Haleakaloha. Your father is out in the Low Islands. We'll see you ashore.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough.
Fellas my age generally call me GW or McLintock. Youngsters call me Mr. McLintock.
Have to take it careful, Miss.
Captain, I am quite capable of leaving a ship.
All right, ease your duff onto that rail now. Sit on the rail and swing your legs outboard. Limbs.
Now take it easy, miss. Take it easy.
All right, Sam. Watch these swells. Watch it, Sam. A little more starboard. Easy now. All right, Sam. All right. Give me your hand. Hard to port. Hey!
Oh, lady, no place to argue. Get in.
Of all the stupid, imbecilic oafs!
I read you loud and clear.
Thank you, Mr. Whatever your name is.
Fellas my age generally call me GW or McLintock. Youngsters call me Mr. McLintock.
Will you please take me ashore? My bag!
Okay.
Thank you. Will you please take me ashore?
All right, Sam, head for the beach.
witness to you, I do not believe this is the proper time to meet the very wealthy and marriageable Miss Dedham.
How about you, Douglas? Douglas? Just plain Douglas, eh? And you call him Mr. McLintock. Why?
Well, Douglas, I guess it's because he earned it.
Mr. McLintock?
Yeah?
I'm a good hand with cattle, Mr. McLintock. I'd like a job.
Allez, les enfants! Allez, suivez-moi et cachez-vous! Comme ça, je vous dira pas. Allez, mes frères, allez!
Get in.
Hey, the dame's all wet. And so are you.
Well, this gentleman is from Massachusetts also. One of the Gilhooly. Gilhooly?
Gilhooly.
Gilhooly.
Oh, sugar pie.
From Fall River.
Fascinating.
Ain't I met you someplace before? Pango Pango? Hong Kong, huh?
I have not had the pleasure of meeting you in Pango Pango, Hong Kong, nor Fall River. Will you please drive on?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How much did you say she was worth, according to Dun and Bradstreet?
$18 billion.
18? Always my lucky number.
Well, you look strong enough. You come in with those Sooners?
Well, yes, sir, but we don't have a homestead.
Can't use you.
Wait here.
Your wigs, please. Very pretty, very pretty.
Mike Donovan, you gotta...
Wrap up in this until you're dry. Then here's the dress.
No, thanks.
No sale.
Will you please take me to a hotel?
You'll sleep at your father's place or on the beach.
My father lives here?
Sure. Any complaints?
What is that building?
It's your father's hospital. He built it. If you're interested. Miss Dedham, this is Yoshi and Koshi.
お召しさん、いらっしゃいませ。
You better get out of those wet clothes. Here, take her in and give her a hot bath.
I am quite capable of giving instructions to servants, Mr. Donovan.
I'm quite sure you are, Miss Dedham. I'll go down to the beach and get your bags.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies, this is the finest Chantilly lace available anywhere.
Chantilly, Mr. Birnbaum.
Well, believe me, it's the best. Oh, excuse me, please. Look around. Take your time. Drago, I got 1,000 Havana cigars and 12 of those hats for you over there.
Them 12 big hats ain't gonna last long the way some folks have been dipping into that red eye these days.
Uh-oh. Good morning, G.W.
Good morning. I stole some stick candy.
Please, help yourself. Come on in. Davy, you can forget about saddling up the horse. Come in here.
Problem?
Yes.
Well, if I were blacks, I'd move Queen's Bishop to King 4.
It's because I'm not white.
Yeah, you might be right. You know, I was just starting to work this out when the letter came.
Letter?
It was...
What happened? Don't you want it? Morning, Mr. McLintock.
Morning, Davy.
You being here saved me a trip. Oh, that hat and suit of clothes you picked out for my birthday? Well, instead of this cowboy hat, I'd like to have this one. If it's, all right with you, sir.
Well, that's all right with me, Davy. Of course, that looks like the kind of a hat a fella'd wear down Main Street to start a fight.
Oh, I don't need a city hat for that. All I have to do is walk down the street and some wiseacre will call me an Indian, and just like that, the fight's on.
Davy, the letter, it's for you. And you are an Indian.
Yes, I know I'm an Indian. But I'm also the fastest runner in town. I've got a college education, and I'm the railroad telegrapher. But does anybody say, hello, college man, or hello, runner, or hello, telegrapher? No, not even hello, knothead.
Davy.
It's always, let the Indian do it.
Will you go out in the store and help the ladies?
All right. I'm also bookkeeper, part-time clerk. Always let the Indian do it.
The lady brought that out here this morning, asked for it to be taken out to the home ranch for you. Handsome lady, kind of tall with red hair. Called me Mr. Birnbaum, just as if she'd never seen me before, and as if that veil that covered her face would keep me from recognizing her.
Oh, son. Looks like we're gonna have to face the music. I'm sorry if we woke you up, but, well, I know this is gonna sound fishy, but the kid here forgot his Stan Musial cap.
His what?
What cap? The one Stan the man sent me.
He said he couldn't sleep without it.
Hi. Oh, hi, Lukey.
Hello, Lukey.
Hi, Koshi. Hi, Yoshi. I bet you never seen me up this late before, did ya?
Pipe down.
Is this child your son?
Oh, yeah, this is, Luke.
And everyone calls me Lukey. And I have two sisters. And I bet you they don't even know I know. Huh, Uncle Guns? Pa Guns.
What about your mother?
Mother?
She's dead.
Oh, God, I wish I was sleeping in my own bed.
It's high time you were in bed. It's really none of my business, Mr.
Donovan.
Well, you should be ashamed of yourself taking a child out in a storm like this.
Me taking him out in a storm like this? I've been chasing him all over the island.
How would you like to spend the night here?
Oh, boy, in a real bed instead of a hot old cot he makes me sleep on.
What do you got to complain about? I'm sleeping in a hammock. You fresh kid, I ought to belt you.
Really, Mr. Donovan, must you bully everyone? Yoshi, please take him up to the big room.
Oh, good night, Uncle Guns. Sleep tight.
That I intend to do. Good and tight.
Mr. Donovan, why don't you go home? Or go to that saloon of yours? You know, if you're typical of all fathers, I suddenly realize how grateful I am never to have seen my own. Good night.
I thought she was in New York or Europe or someplace.
So did I.
Jake, you better throw on a couple extra cases of the boss's favorite bourbon. That stuff sure gets used up fast out at our place.
Which reminds me, you better start tapering off.
Catherine's in town.
Katie?
Mademoiselle Dedo. Well, and what are you doing here?
I slept here last night, and I can come back anytime I want. Right, Amelia?
Right.
Oh, may I have the honor to present myself? I'm the Marquis de Lage, governor of this island paradise, which finds in you its fairest flower.
Hot dog.
Well,
It was my intent to greet you personally upon your arrival yesterday, but alas, the duties of office. But here I am, such as I am, to place myself and my automobile, and you will observe, it's an American automobile, 1944, complete with driver, at your service, Mr. Yu.
Amherst, 52.
Mr. Yu?
If I may venture a suggestion, a scenic drive, a chilled aperitif. I have a picnic basket. I'd be delighted to...
Well, that's very kind of you, Your Excellency, but I have promised to take Lukey home this morning.
Knock it off, Uncle Andy. Quit trying to horn in on my date.
Lukey, your manners, remember? Perhaps Your Excellency would be so kind as to drive us to Lukey's father's.
The history of my life. To reach towards the rose, only to be pierced by its thorn. $18 billion.
Catherine?
George Washington McLintock. I thought you'd want this.
First dig of the spur. But who am I to upset your plans? But you feel kind of silly.
I never feel silly.
It's because you have no sense of humor. Why couldn't we sit down in the hotel dining room and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about? Or why couldn't you just come over to the house?
And have everybody know that we're meeting.
Everybody knows, and what's the difference? We're married.
That is something I should like to change.
You know the answer, Katie. That isn't why you sent for me. Let's get to the rat killing.
That's just the kind of remark that's always endeared you to me.
Let us open the discussion.
Very well. Our daughter is coming home in a few days. Rather, she's coming here. It was just a slip of the tongue that made me refer to this ugly hamlet as home.
Morning, Padre.
Morning, Michel.
Good morning, Father. That was a marvelous sermon this morning, Father.
La boîte à jukes, the jukes box, no music?
I think it's busted, Father.
Busted, but I don't understand the Chinois, they...
Well, I wouldn't know anything about those things, Father. I think it's busted.
Busted, huh? No music, huh? Busted.
Let's have another date sometime.
Why, sure, but right now you've got to get to school, little man.
Piano lessons.
Sorry, miss, but Mr. Donovan don't allow no ladies in this joint.
Oh, really? Well, that's quite all right, Sergeant. I promise I won't start any rhubarbs.
Now hear this. Now hear this. Mayday. I repeat, Mayday.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
My apologies, Mr. Donovan. Really, no women?
You're very welcome, Miss Dedham.
Actually, I came here on business.
Well, won't you sit down?
Thank you. Captain, I should like to charter the Aruna for however long it takes for me to find my father and then take me back to Honolulu.
Well, as to that, Miss...
The Aruna is not for charter. She has too much draft for the low islands, reefs, and coral heads.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan. I was speaking to the sailing master. Captain, it should only be...
I own the Aruna, and the Inishmore, and the Inishfree, and several others. You might say that we are rivals, competitors in the shipping business. Cigarette?
Excuse me.
Thank you.
You smoke?
Yes, I smoke.
Well, then perhaps,
Rain check? Mr. Donovan, I was quite rude last night. Please accept my humble apologies.
I also was rather abrupt. Pax?
Pax. I was tired and frightened
And wet?
very wet. And to come halfway around the world only to be told that...
Well, I wouldn't worry about your father, Miss Dedham. He'll be back shortly. He wouldn't want to miss Christmas with his patients and the hospital.
On the house, huh?
How was my boy, Lukey? How did he behave?
Oh, he was charming. And entertaining. Oh, and very educational. I learned all about Mr. Musial's batting average and runs batted in. And then he fell asleep in my arms.
As Shakespeare said.
Quite. Boulanger, out of order, and so forth. Explanation?
Slot machine. Was shipped in here 6 years ago. Busted. It is still busted.
Why?
I do not attempt to explore the depths of the Oriental mind, Miss Dedham. Perhaps your Ivy League chaperone here could explain to my clients again that it is busted.
Well, that's reasonable, Mr. Hugh.
I will try to explain it to them in their barbarian tongue. 往开点！招牌是反的，自由是白的，中文都不懂，你怎么搞的这？
早晨，先生，食餐啦！哦，冇咁靚嗰啲仔啊，咁好啊！啊，有錢嘅食餐啦嚇，食餐啦，真好啊！嚟，早啲嚟啊！食餐咯，好靚嗰啲仔，哦又有錢，邊個人啊？哈
Carriage trade.
Lunch. Kids. My, children.
Chopin.
Mozart, perhaps?
Oh, Joe College.
2 years. Football, broken ankle. Navy. Miss Dedham, I'd like to have you meet the family.
Thank you.
Of course, you may find Father Clouseau somewhat of a bully.
Hi, Amelia.
Father Clouseau, I want you to meet Miss Dedham.
How do you do, Father?
And this is my oldest girl, Leilani.
Rebecca.
Leilani, you play beautifully.
Thank you.
This is my other girl.
Well, you're a little doll. Now, what's your name?
Sarah.
I hate that name.
But they call me Sally.
Sarah. My name's Amelia Sarah, but nobody ever called me Sally.
No?
Father, it's Wednesday. Water skiing.
No.
You promised Leilani could go water skiing today.
May I come along?
Water skiing is a very dangerous sport, Miss Dedham, particularly in these waters.
Well,
I don't think...
Perhaps you could teach me.
Oh, Papa Guns, please let her come along.
Okay.
No, lesson is lesson. After the lesson.
Okay, Miss Dedham.
1-0.
Anyway, she's coming home. And I hope to persuade you to let her live with me. Part of the time in the capital, part of the time in New York, and, of course, Newport during the season.
You're whistling in the wind, Kate.
If she stays here, she'll become just as crude and as vulgar as all of this country.
And if she goes your way, she'll be all show and no stay. No go, Kate.
I hate you. Oh, how I hate you.
Half the people in the world are women.
Why does it have to be you that stirs me?
Animal.
That's the story. I saw your picture in the paper at the governor's ball. You were dancing with the governor.
At least he's a gentleman.
I doubt that. You have to be a man first before you're a gentleman. He misses on both counts.
Good morning. I would like a bathing costume.
Very pretty.
Bikini, number one, bikini.
Very pretty.
Bikini.
I think that's a little.
王掌柜的，你怎么这么想不开呀？这位高贵的小姐是从 Boston, Massachusetts 来的，她怎么能穿这种游泳衫呢？
中意我俾你我
Old fashion。 哎，这件很好嘛。
Pretty.
Very. Good morning, Miss Lafleur. What a beautiful gown. Are you contemplating matrimony?
What young girl of my age doesn't contemplate matrimony?
How true.
还真算漂亮 ，Miss Daniel。Very proper。
嘿，
你好漂亮啊 ，Miss Daniel。
Very pretty.
And pants.
Yeah.
Looking class.
Thank you.
哦，睇資料，着得啱身，又平添啊！咁
包咗佢啦，包咗佢啦。
Thank you, but I don't think this is quite.
Baby, right up your alley.
You know, I believe you're right.
About that job, Mr. McLintock.
I already told you, son, I've got no need for farmers or use for them.
Just 1 minute, Mr. McLintock. My father died last month. That's how come we lost our homestead. I've got a mother and a little sister to feed. I need that job badly.
What's your name?
Devlin Warren.
Well, you got a job, son. See my home ranch foreman. He's over at the corral.
Step down off of that carriage, mister.
Hold that hog leg. I've been punched many a time in my life, but never for hiring anybody.
I don't know what to say. Never begged before. Turn my stomach. I suppose I should have been grateful you gave me the job.
Holy Moses.
Amelia Dedham.
Ravissant, Amelia. Ravissant.
Thank you, Andre.
Well, let's go, Miss Bunker Hill.
Breeds Hill.
All right, let's go.
By the way, have you dispatched that application for transfer yet?
Miami Beach? Yes, sir.
Cancel it.
Well, she made it.
Faster!
give her something to write home to Boston about.
Oh, no, Uncle Guns! Oh, no!
I'm sorry. Oh, that's quite all right, Mr. Donovan.
Fellas my age generally call me GW or McLintock. Youngsters call me Mr. McLintock.
Fun?
Funny.
You mad?
Mad?
Erin are shoving off tomorrow morning, so I'll have to go check her out. So you two take the boat. I'm gonna swim in.
I'll race you in.
Why, you got it all wrong. I don't give jobs, I hire men.
You intend to give this man a full day's work, don't you, boy?
You mean you're still hiring me, Mr. McLintock? Well, yes, sir. I mean, I'll certainly deliver a fair day's work.
For that, I'll pay you a fair day's wage. You won't give me anything, and I won't give you anything. We both hold up our heads. Where do you live?
The settlers' encampment, down by the mine.
That's your plug?
Yes, sir.
Well, hop on him, and we'll go get your gear.
You'll race me?
Yes.
Let's go.
Ready?
Let's go.
1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 get ready for it now. Oh.
Hey!
Go, Amelia, go! Go! Go, go, go! Go, Amelia! Go!
You're out of condition, Mr. Donovan.
Match.
Oh, gee. I'm sorry, Mr. Donovan.
That's quite all right, Miss Dedham.
Pax?
Pax.
Go after that boy and give him $30. Tell him McLintock pays these riders a month in advance.
From the looks of things, they could sure use it, too.
Oh, Mom? It's Mr. Drago.
Well, and what do we owe this visit from the cattle baron?
I've got a touch of hangover, bureaucrat. Don't push me.
Say, those are Indians. Are there Indians in this homestead land?
Friendly Indians, my boy.
Oh-ho,
Macklin?
Oh, Running Buffalo.
Oh, Macklin. Long time we don't get drunk together.
Oh, that's a pretty one. Last year we had it bigger.
All right, come on, let's get it tied on aft.
Hey, let me help.
No, Stan the man and I can get it, can't we, Stan? Ah! Tie it off. No more grannies now.
E coma curva hine, iloko himolele, hey nui coma haloi, ke ai onari. Mahalo nui loa.
Well, Leilani, that was lovely. What do the words mean?
I was thanking the goddess of the canyon for our tree.
Goddess? Do you believe in gods and goddesses?
It's because I'm not white. Well, I believe in the one God, as we all do. But I respect the beliefs and customs of my people.
I tell you, it is a granny.
The monument.
Princess Manulani, Commander William Dedham, Michael Patrick Donovan, Thomas Aloysius Gilhooly.
Thomas Aloysius Gilhooly. Gilhooly?
Gilhooly.
Gilhooly.
Oh, sugar pie.
Does this mean there was actual fighting on this island?
Well, those gold stars don't stand for good behavior.
Well, tell me.
There's not much to tell. We got blown off our can, and it's a destroyer. Ended up here on the island. There was a big Jap base down there. So, we hid out back here in the hills, down in those caves. Tossed a few monkey wrenches into their machinery. Throw them a few spitballs.
It's hard to believe that war has ever been within 1,000 miles of a place as peaceful as this.
Frangipani and flamethrowers don't seem to go together, but it's the way it was.
Hey.
Well, we better get back down the hill.
But who is the princess?
We'd better get underway. It's a long drive back. All right, kids, into the Jeep. Up we go. How is this thing? Down here solid? And it's going to be a lot longer time, because it's against the law and you're with the sheriff.
And if I got my hands full, they came into town to meet the train. The old Indian chiefs are coming home.
I heard they'd been pardoned.
They don't know when it's arriving, this week, next week, or next month. So in the meantime, I've got to do something with them. Could I cut out a couple of head of your steers to feed them? Otherwise, some of these settlers' milk cows are going to disappear.
That's right, Macklin.
Cut out whatever you need.
Sheriff, are you going to camp these savages with all these settlers? You're asking for trouble.
Mr. Douglas, I already have plenty of trouble. Please stay off my back. Running Buffalo, bring your people over to the clay slide. Go.
Hello, Mr. Macklin.
Tiny Mouse, it's nice to see you. You wouldn't believe it now, but 20 years ago, she was a mighty handsome maid.
20 years ago, you thought so too, Mr. Douglas.
It was just like this. I had a dead beat on old Running Buffalo, and my sharp 50 caliber misfired. That was back in that trouble in the 40s. Remember?
I remember.
Hey, you want to tell you something come directly from heaven?
No. Where'd you get this?
That boy's mama baked them. You thinking the same thing I am? She's a widow woman, boss, and she's got a long, hard road home.
Hire her.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells.
Well, Father, we had to get a tree. What would Christmas be without a Christmas tree? Long ways up that valley.
Say, I've got a wonderful idea. How would you like to spend Christmas at my house?
You mean that'd be better than putting a Christmas tree up in a saloon?
No. Well, naturally, you want to spend Christmas with your father.
Thank you, Amelia. I think it would be very nice to spend Christmas at your father's house.
Well, that settles that. Father, not that way. That's a saloon. The gate.
Michael, who was Manolani?
Manolani? She was the granddaughter of the last hereditary prince of these islands.
What happened to her?
She died in childbirth.
I always said you had a heap of sense.
Mr. McLintock, this is my mother.
Your mother?
And my sister.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. McLintock.
Ma'am, this here's my boss, and he has a few choice words to say about your biscuits.
Yes, Mr. McLintock?
Huh? They're great. Well, you old Cantonese reprobate, how about it?
Fire me? I'd kill myself.
I'm not talking about firing you, I'm retiring you. You've been rustling food for us for 30 years. We're gonna put you out to pasture. All you'll have to do is give advice. Be one of the family.
I'd kill myself.
I may save you the trouble.
But, Ching, you kill yourself, I'll cut off your pigtail, and you ain't never gonna get to heaven.
I'll be one of our family.
I give you my solemn word.
Pretty clumsy family. Drink too much. Get in fights. Yell all the time.
Cut off his pigtail.
All right, I'll be one of our family. Giúp lý đó. Phải là giúp lý đó. Giúp lý đó. Hai. Cảm ơn.
I hope everything is satisfactory. This is such a big house, it'll take me a while to get used to things. Now, please don't hesitate to tell me if anything is wrong.
No bird's nest soup. Otherwise, just fine. Everything out nicely.
Who's
Finally,
telling
fine.
it, ma'am?
Best apple pie I ever had.
Curly's right, ma'am. Hated to leave that last bite. Shall we celebrate with a drink?
Carlos, come in and help me with the dishes. Alice, you want to help too?
Yes, Jacob.
All right, pitch in. Now I'll wash and you kids can dry.
come back, will you now? What do you want me to bring you? And this is what she said. A hat with a crooked crown. Silver buckles for my shoes. A boa with feathers. A scalloped petticoat. And a short, tight dress.
Well, I have the pleasure to inform Your Excellency that your worst fears have been realized.
So I knew he was up to something.
Indubitably. In a canoe.
Canoe? A canoe?
But I have a plan.
Sit down, please. Oh, boy. A drink for Mademoiselle. Champagne.
Yes, sir. No. My voice. A slug of gin, if you please.
Of course you know your work permit
Yes,
has
and your
expired
tourist permit.
30 months ago.
Well, it's a shame.
But we have a plan of Mr. Donovan's house. Here is his bedroom.
You're telling me.
Don't seem possible one woman could use all them clothes.
You keep a civil tongue in your unprepossessing face.
Yes, ma'am.
And unload my baggage, please.
Yes, ma'am. By the way, what does that word unprepossessing mean?
Miss McLintock. Oh, hello, Carlos. Run and help the driver with my luggage. I couldn't trust anyone else in this house to do anything correctly.
Luggage? Give him a hand, Curly.
Yes, boss. Mr. McLintock?
Are you moving back in?
Yes, but nothing has changed except my place of residence. And I'd be willing to put up with savages rather than be denied the company of my daughter. And I'm proving that by moving in here.
Mr. McLintock, since it's my first day, would you excuse me if I,
Go ahead. Oh, Catherine, this is Dev Warren. He joined the outfit today.
Please, ma'am.
Thank you. Well, how refreshing. A polite young man here. Where did he come from?
He's a farmer.
A farmer?
Well, I'll be doggone. Kate, welcome home.
What on earth are you doing in that idiotic-looking outfit? And don't you dare call me Kate.
That's my butling suit. I'm butling for the boss. And I'm sorry, Catherine. That Kate kind of slipped out from the times I remembered you as being nice people.
Are you going to stand there with that stupid look on your face while the hired help insults your wife?
Come on, Sally. Oh.
Oh, those children.
Oh, those kids. It's the same thing every night.
You know, Michael Donovan, you're quite a fella.
Well, you know Amelia Dedham. You're quite a gal. Cigarette? What's the matter?
I had the strangest feeling that you were going to kiss me.
What?
Well, I have been kissed before. I thought I'd been kissed before.
I wonder if those kids are really
I'll sit this one out.
I'll walk you home.
No, I'll walk this off. Good night, Michael.
Oh, the monkeys had no tails in Samboanga. Oh, the monkeys had no tails.
Have you a light, Michael?
It's a gag, Mike! That Chinaman, that Mr. You is all a gag!
You idiot. A hammock.
And I can't help this stupid look. I started acquiring it as you gained in social prominence.
Mrs. McClintock, where do you want I should... What?
Put him in the master bedroom.
Yes. But move Mr. McLintock's things into another room. Oh, the one back of the stairs would be best so that he can't wake up the entire household when he comes home every
Here's
night. Just before daybreak.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, excuse me. Here's your cigars, Mr. McLintock.
I am Mrs. McLintock.
Catherine, this is the cook. This is the lady does the cooking for us.
Mrs. Warren, Mrs. McClintock.
How do you do?
Very pleased to meet you, Mrs. McLintock. Very pleased.
Likewise.
You see, I just came to work here today, and I guess I jumped to the conclusion that this was a bachelor's household.
It is, and then again it isn't. I will explain so everything will be quite clear, Mrs. Wallace.
Mrs. Warren.
Mrs. Warren, it has been a bachelor's household for quite some time. And it will be again just as soon as I am out of here, which will be as quickly as I can make arrangements to take my daughter back east with me. You see, she's coming home from school in a few days, and then we'll be off together, and you can return to conducting yourself as you consider proper in a bachelor's household.
Katie!
Shut up! Until then, I am mistress in this house, and I will give the orders. You want my breakfast served in bed?
Let her. Ain't you gonna say nothing, boss?
Breakfast in bed.
No.
One poached egg, tea, toast. Oh, GW. As soon as my things are put away, I want to talk to you about Rebecca.
Yes, Mrs. McClintock. Indeed, Mrs. McClintock. Of course, Mrs. McClintock.
The toast, lightly browned and unbuttered.
Of course, ma'am.
Wait a minute now, boss. Where do you think you're going?
I just remembered I got a date.
Quit trying to horn in on my date.
But she said she want to have a talk with you.
I heard. Good evening, Lem.
Good evening, Mr. Mack. Yep. Say, Mr. Mack, what does unprepossessing mean?
I was called that once, Lem. Looked it up in the dictionary. It's best you don't know what it means.
Uh-huh. Thank you. You're up.
She asked why you went.
When in doubt, tell the truth. She wouldn't expect that from you anyway.
Where's Mr. McLintock gone? There he goes, burning his last bridge. You see a yellow streak about a foot wide running up down his backbone.
Well, Mr. McLintock? He ain't afraid of nothing.
I once thought that.
Drago?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that,
He took off, lit out.
I told him I wanted to talk to him.
Yes, ma'am. I was standing right over here when you said it, and I was standing right out there on those front steps when he walked up to a horse, grabbed a hunk of mane, stepped up on him, and sunk spur.
Where did he go?
Last time I saw him, he's going east. But you know him, he's liable to go north, south, or west.
Get me a carriage.
Yes, ma'am, but
But what?
maybe you shouldn't follow him into maybe where he's going into.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but I wish I hadn't said it.
I'll just get the carriage.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
Get the Bruce.
Baruch?
Hitch it up. She wants to go to town.
But Mr. McLintock never said anything to me about it.
Look, young fella, I'm the ramrod around this place, and you better start giving me a yes, sir. You're gonna get the roof of this house pulled down on your head.
Yes, sir.
SOS, go.
Let's have it. Doc, Mayday, your Boston daughter here. Daughter, D-O-T-T-E-R.
That's right, 2T.
Insert name of. Her name's Amelia, you dope.
Well, how would I know? I ain't shacking up with her.
Boston, daughter, Amelia, here. Your kids living at my house. Supposed to be mine. Mayday, Doc. Watch your step. Guns.
He's reading.
His kids?
Dedham, I presume.
Amelia.
Father?
Dorothy, Max. Same as usual?
Ladies. Evening, GW.
Jake?
Wrong move.
What?
Chess problem. Queen's in danger.
It's because I'm not white.
I suppose you can do that.
Camille, you're on your own.
Miss McLintock?
I'm Camille. Camille Reedbottom. I'm learning the game of chess. Thought it would give me something to pass the time. See, I have nothing to do all day long. I just remembered something.
Catherine, I didn't hear you come in.
Mr. McLintock, I told you that I wanted to talk to you.
Not now.
Could I get you a glass of sherry, Catherine?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Birnbaum. I could use one. I came into town behind a runaway team.
Drago never could handle horses.
It was that young man whose mother pretends to be your cook.
Catherine, your wine.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Birnbaum. Now, Mr. McLintock, we have an awful lot to talk over.
First thing I learned about Indian fighting was to wait for daylight.
What has our conversation got to do with Indian fighting?
Indian fighting is good experience for our kind of conversations.
Oh.
It'll wait, Catherine.
Evening, Sheriff. Mr. McLintock, we had quite a ride out here. Oh, I finally got that team settled down.
It's your move.
No, it's your move. I just castled.
Oh. Now, look here. You're not going to sit here all night long and play chess when the matter of our daughter remains unsettled.
I am going to remain here and play chess, and the matter of our daughter is settled. She stays.
Oh, such stubbornness.
Catherine, your hair.
Oh, it is a mess after that awful ride.
No. It's just that I haven't seen you for a long time. And it seems to me the last time I saw you, your hair was a little darker, no? It's a funny thing that tricks a man's memory will play, huh?
Mr. Birnbaum, I think that you've completely lost your mind.
You have done something to your hair.
I have not. I had it been none of your business. I'm certainly not going to put myself in the place of those blondine trollops that you seem to prefer.
Take it.
Huh? Oh. Fill it. Oh. Good morning.
You fellows still at it all night? McLintock never quits. But a Birnbaum has to. Besides, the game is over. You got me.
Oh, no, Mr. Birnbaum. You still got a good game.
Oh, you play chess? Please, take off.
Pretty good.
Fair?
Well, looks like I won't have to come into town always to get a game. Remember, I'm a bad loser. It's your move.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, it's not morning already.
Mm-hmm. Cup of coffee?
Oh, yes, thanks, Jake.
You're welcome, Catherine.
Got any cream?
Canned cow's milk.
That'll do.
Good old condensed milk. That reminds me. I was cleaning out my desk the other day. I found something I wanted to return to you. Here it is. It's a medal. Remember? From the President of the United States of America to First Sergeant Michael Patrick Gilhooly.
Gilhooly?
Gilhooly.
Gilhooly.
Oh, sugar pie.
For bravery above and beyond the call of duty. It's your papa. Reminds me of the first time I ever saw you. It was over 17 years ago. You walked into my store, not much bigger than the bundle you were carrying. And in the bundle was the most beautiful baby I ever saw. And was she hungry? You walked all the way from Superstition Creek just to trade me that medal for a case of canned milk. GW was off somewhere as usual, fighting Indians.
Sheriff? Sheriff Ford! Well, have you seen the sheriff?
Kind of early for him. To try his house?
Why didn't I think of that?
Looks like Burn Bonds is open. Maybe somebody in here knows. So there you are, Sheriff. I told you you were headed for trouble. Trouble?
I want to know by whose authority you let those Indians stay in town. Those savages are wards of the government, and I am the representative of
I
that
told Sheriff Lord that he could put him up down by the clay side.
Because the town's named after him, he thinks he owns it.
Well, you check the books in the recorder's office, and you'll find I do own a fair piece of it. Agard, if you knew anything about Indians, you'd know that they're doing their level best to put up with our so-called benevolent patronage, in spite of the nincompoops that have been put in charge of it.
Those Indians need my permission to leave the reservation.
Those chiefs have been giving orders all their lives. It's pretty hard for them to understand that they have to hold up their hand like a schoolboy in a classroom.
The law is very clear.
I told you you'd get no satisfaction from these people. But we'll get the girl back.
Girl?
The girl the Indians kidnapped. But don't worry. I armed the settlers and set them to rounding up those red devils.
What is this about a girl?
Millie Jones, one of the settlers' daughters.
The Indians kidnapped her.
That's ridiculous. And you turned loose a lot of farmers with shotguns?
I certainly did.
You're insane. Let's go, Sheriff.
Mr. Douglas,
Oh, Miss McLintock.
much as I hate to agree with GW about anything, you haven't changed a bit. You're still an hysterical fool.
Come into town, I got worried.
What about?
Thought maybe Katie shot you.
Not yet, Drago, but it took restraint.
Wait a minute. You better take Agard along. Not that he'll be much help.
Drago, have him on the horse.
Just a minute. Well,
I'll drive.
Yes, ma'am.
Agard, what are you doing?
Agard, this is serious. Stay with him, Agard. Stay with him.
Agar, will you stop showing off and getting this buggy?
Mercy. Mercy. That horse is a little green.
Let's go.
yeah.
Just where do you think you're going?
Don't use that range, boss. Tone of voice with me.
Carter! Headed for Mr. Poor Boy's mine. Mount up some riders.
Right, boss. You heard the man.
I don't like it, Mr. McLintock. I don't like it one bit.
What don't you like?
They're planning to hang an Indian.
Where's the whiskey?
Hold that. Not so fast, Mr. Boss of the whole country. Unless you want to wear a big hole in your middle.
How long is GW going to let that cheat-chalker push him around?
That cheat-chalker has a sawed-off shotgun.
How do you know she didn't wander off someplace or meet some fella or something?
What are you saying? That I didn't raise my girl right? That she'd wander off all night with some man?
There's a lot of things I'm not saying to you, mister. Well, you got a sawed-off shotgun in my middle. But how do you know this Indian had anything to do with it?
She's gone, ain't she? She's gone.
Pa! Pa! I'm over here! Pa! Been looking for me, Pa?
Where you been, gal?
Young Ben took me for a sunrise ride, and the horse wandered away.
You come down over there.
But, Pa!
She's telling the truth, Mr. McLintock. We wasn't doing nothing.
Well, that's not important right now. The important thing is that you don't draw that hog leg, or this'll be worse than Dodge City on Saturday night.
You get on, back to the wagon. I'll tend to you later. Now for this young whippersnapper.
Now, no harm has been done. And young Ben here is one of the nicest boys in the territory, so just put down that shotgun and
I'll
let's
teach
forget
him to fool with Mike.
Now, we'll all calm down.
Boss, he's just a little excited.
I know. I'm going to use good judgment. I haven't lost my temper in 40 years. But, Pilgrim, you caused a lot of trouble this morning. Might have got somebody killed. And somebody ought to belt you in the mouth. But I won't. I won't.
Hold up this time.
Yoshi?
おかえり。おかえり。どうぞ。
ありがとう。
Beth, ready, doctor?
How did it go?
Fine. I'm no brain surgeon, but she's gonna be all right.
I'm glad. Do you like it?
Very much.
I invited some children over for Christmas. 3 of the sweetest kids in the world. Little half-caste.
It's because I'm not white.
The hell I will. McLintock Rider!
Ha-ha! Oh, Markland!
Hey, Buster! Remember me?
Hello, sir. Nice party.
Do you think we ought to?
I ought to what? Why, you think?
Where's the whiskey? Goodbye. Goodbye.
Sorry, McLintock.
Oh, Markland.
Thanks.
Ha-ha, it's very funny.
Yeah, very funny.
Guys, Mr. Douglas, I'm sorry. you big...
Yowie!
You've been making clumsy.
Well, it's pretty hard to control yourself. People! Oh, Macklin! Oh, Macklin! Good party! But no whiskey. We go home.
You and your friends.
Well, we at least saved your hat. Oh.
Where is everybody? Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Mr. Donovan's, you know them.
Yes, I know them.
Look. The generator's working. Do you mind?
No. No, not at all. I'll go shave and get cleaned up, huh?
I'll have tea ready.
Good.
Thank you, Yoshi.
Thank you. No cream, thank you.
It isn't cream.
Rum.
Aunt Sarah and Grand Uncle Sedley might hear.
That's right, I'd forgotten.
The Dedhams, Amelia, have never traded in rum. We refer to it as West Indies goods.
To Aunt Sarah, Grand Uncle Sedley, and West Indies goods. Skull.
Slantha.
Since when have you been acquiring Irish? Oh. Guns Donovan.
How do you know it isn't Mr. Gilhooly?
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 Gilhooly.
Gilhooly.
Oh, sugar pie.
No. I'd just like you to know that I signed all my shares over to you.
No, I'd rather you kept them.
Why?
Perhaps admiration for my father.
Thanks. Amelia, I couldn't care less about the Dedham Shipping Company. The very mention of it gives me cold chills. I guess that's true of Boston, too. I remember how happy I was when I heard I was the father of a fine baby girl. That was early in the war. The months went on, the years. The letters got fewer and fewer. And none at all.
Well, you knew that Mother was...
I didn't know that. And no one bothered to write. Then we were torpedoed. A lot of the men were killed. A few of us managed to get to a raft. 10 days later, we made it here. The sensible thing would have been to give ourselves up. But the people hid us, fed us, nursed us, and, well, some even died for us. We owed them something for that. They didn't have a doctor on the island, and, well, God knows they certainly needed one. I didn't know about your mother until 5 months after it happened. When I was discharged at Pearl Harbor, I just couldn't bring myself to go back to Boston. I wasn't needed there, but I was desperately needed here.
Whoa, whoa.
Drago, will you never learn how to handle a team?
Yes, ma'am, I'll sure try. I'll tell you that now.
Try me, family.
You want to lose your pigtail?
I lose face. Lousy lot of tips.
You want to lose more than that?
Kate,
Yes?
we could be a
big help to one another.
Like what, may I ask?
Well, we could wash the mud off of each other. We used to have quite good times doing that sort of thing.
There are a lot of things we used to do. Good night, Mr. McLintock.
Any luck?
What are you talking about?
I mean, divorce. She still want it?
Yeah.
You know something? Women are funny. She fought like a wildcat on your side out there this afternoon. Come home, she slams the door in your face. That divorce business, is that what you get when you pay a woman not to live with you?
That's about it.
Some women I've known it'd be worth it.
You know, if we had any moral character, we wouldn't be standing here covered with mud drinking when we should be washing.
GW.
Drago.
Miss Warren, these biscuits. Mmm.
Oh, thank you, Drago.
Good morning, Mrs. Warren.
Good morning, Mr. McLintock.
Breakfast for the boss?
If that's the way you want it, Mr. McLintock. One poached egg, tea, toast, lightly browned, and Why, Mrs. McLintock, you have a black eye.
I do. Ooh. Oh, and Becky's coming home today.
And that's not all. There's a little something we'd better get settled. There are no men listening now, so we can be ourselves. Oh, sure, I let you get away with all that guff the other night. But now that we're alone...
When I want the opinion of the hired help, I'll ask for it.
You know, you could wind up with 2 black eyes.
What?
Oh, I realize you had to put on that big act. We always have to just before we get ready to forgive them. Generally for something they haven't done. But you and I both know that's just to keep them from getting the idea they run things. McLintock give you that black eye?
No. Nobody gave it to me. I want it.
I know I failed in my responsibility to you. But there were children here, too. Children that I had brought into the world. Who might die if I wasn't around.
I understand all that well enough, but...
Why couldn't I have gone back? Even for a visit?
There must have been other doctors who could have taken your place.
That's very true. But you see, by that time, I...
Isn't that sweet? They're bringing you flowers. That's welcome. Of course, you know that. Now, why did they do that? Why don't they come right on up? I'll go get them.
Amelia?
Yes?
Well, the time has come, the walrus said, to speak of many things.
Of sailing ships and sealing wax?
And cabbages and kings. I've been here about... well, horse and buggy time. Good old Doc Denham. Excuse me, dear.
Docteur, c'est une césarienne, une pauvre petite chinoise de 16 ans.
Oh, merci. Merci, ma mère. It's an emergency.
I understood. May I help?
All right. Come on. Help me scrub up.
Why, Miss Becky, welcome home.
Hi, Daddy.
My
How
boy.
are you? Good to see you again.
Daddy.
Well,
It's been 2 long years.
I guess I'm gonna have to stop calling you Tomboy.
Oh, Becky. Mama! Oh, darling. I wasn't sure you'd be here.
Oh, I've been here a few days. Oh, Becky, I bought you 3 of the most beautiful dresses.
Uncle Drago! Oh!
Did you bring your old uncle a coming home present?
Sure did.
What is it?
A mustache cup. And what did you get me?
Prettiest Palomino pony that ever packed a saddle. Broke the stand, drowned, tie, and the counter.
Oh! Uncle Jake! Oh! What are you doing in Mr. Douglas's tuba?
Oh, Mr. Douglas had a little accident.
I brought you a whole shipment of licorice sticks. But now that I've seen how much you've grown, I think we better exchange them for a couple of bolts of dress goods, huh?
Thank you.
Oh, the mayor was going to be here, but he had to go to the territorial capital on a horse theft matter. But I'm going to give his speech. Oh, and don't worry about the mayor. I'm sure that he can find a bill of sale for the horse. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to welcome the fairest... What am I doing? We are here to welcome back the prettiest girl that was ever born in McLintock, or in any part of the territory.
Hey, Davey!
Yeah?
Got something for you. Yardmaster up at the junction told me to let him ride, so I locked him in here. I've had my scalp a long time, and I aim to keep it.
And now she's come back to us. Gone are the pigtails, but the freckles are still on the prettiest face that was ever born in McLintock.
Hey, that's Puma. And it's true. The government did turn them loose.
Good old Puma. I'll never forget when he brought G.W. home. Your father had a hole in his chest and 104 fever. Of course, they weren't very mannerly about it. He came past the house at a high lope and threw him on the doorstep.
And you do remember them good old days, don't you, Katie?
Catherine.
Yatta my friends.
Yatta
Puma, honored enemy.
Does big McLintock forget? Also blood brother.
No, I'll never forget that.
All wound. Does it hurt still?
I feel it when it comes on to rain. An inch higher and I wouldn't have had to worry.
Our big McLintock, that was remembered fire. We return with news. Our people have more trouble. You see, I learned good English now, big McLintock. Learned in white man's jail. But we would have you talk our cause at government hearing.
I understand that Governor Humphreys is going to preside at that meeting. Yes, Puma, I'll translate your wishes.
Mr. McLintock, could I impose upon you to use your Comanche to tell these
Puma
chiefs...
is chief of the Comanches, and he speaks English very well.
Oh, well, your people will have to follow my instructions to the letter. It is the law of the land... Well, now, just a minute. Well, for heaven's sakes.
McLintock party?
Surely.
Will I see you there, Beth?
Of course, Davy, and you can have the first day.
Sis? Don't want any sister of mine talking to strangers.
Davy's not a stranger. He clerks in burn barns.
He's an Indian.
Darn you, Drago! Now look what you've done.
Baby, this is Devlin Warren. He works for you, Papa. Dev, this is Miss Becky McLintock.
Those are my things.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'd have known you anywhere, Miss Becky.
What do you mean?
Oh, I mean, you look so much like your mother. Well, even prettier.
Oh, Mr. Warren. Mother's much prettier than I am.
Many a fight started with words like that. Come on, get in the boat.
Hello, Ching. We got jelly pie for dinner.
Oh. I'm not cooking.
No, he's not.
Junior!
Yes, Miss Becky.
You remember Junior Douglas, Mama?
Oh, of course. How's college?
Valedictorian, 95.
Oh, congratulations. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Douglas, we will see you at the party, of course.
Oh, delighted.
Well, it'll be pretty hard to keep young Matt away.
Yes, sir.
Drago?
Yes, boss. Baggage all loaded.
G.W. You remember young Junior?
Oh, yes. Like father, like son.
Mr. McLintock, I hope you don't think I'm being presumptuous in asking for the honor of calling on Miss Rebecca.
Well, there she is. Ask her yourself.
Well, thank you, sir.
Jing, now I'm going to get fired. Get up out of here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
How do you know me, man? I'll see you at the party, Junior!
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Like father, like son.
What did he mean, Matthew?
On the earth goodwill to men, from heaven's all gracious King. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing.
Mes chers enfants, bon et joyeux Noël. Merry Christmas. Mele Kaliki Maka.
Mele Kaliki Maka.
My children, once again we've come to that holy time of the year. Time for giving, for loving, and for remembering. Tonight we have much to be grateful for. All of us. And I, perhaps, most of all, because as you see, our chapel has, at long last, an organ, a magnificent organ, a gift of Miss Amelia Dedham. Mademoiselle, I weep for joy. Forgive me. Monsieur le gouverneur, Je ne peux pas continuer. J'ai le cœur brisé.
A gift of $150 for the repair of the chapel roof, donated by Messrs. Donovan and Gilhooly.
Gilhooly?
Gilhooly.
Gilhooly?
Gilhooly.
Oh, sugar pie.
Has been crossed out. The poor are still with us. Before we proceed with the pageant that Mother Gabrielle has prepared for us, I should also like to say that the Royal Australian Navy has again sent a corvette to do honor to the hereditary princess of our island paradise. I would like to thank our brave and noble allies in the name of the Republic of France.
We thank the governor.
Continuez. Lélanie, Mademoiselle Lafleur.
And thus it came to pass that the child was born in the city of David, called Bethlehem. And behold, a star appeared in the heavens.
Horse and buggy?
You see that Amelia gets home?
Affirmative.
And then from the east came 3 wise men, 3 kings, bearing gifts, to gaze upon the child and to kneel before him in adoration. The king of Polynesia. The Emperor of China. The King of the United States of America.
finished there, go over and help Drago with the beer cakes.
Yes, Mom.
Deb, could you come and help me a minute? I certainly was surprised to hear you went to college.
Why?
I don't know. Junior says Purdue's a good college for a backwater place like Indiana.
Well, he did indeed.
Oh, could you do this? I can't reach it. Why didn't you finish college?
Lack of funds. My father got sick, and he had to come out west. So he took out a homestead.
You know, your mom's sure cute. It's too bad you didn't inherit her eyes.
Well, you'd been lucky if you'd inherited a few things from your father.
Oh, really? For instance?
It was common sense, for instance.
Common sense?
Yeah. You don't see him being fooled by some dude like Junior Douglas.
Junior's not a dude. He's nifty. This needs a woman's touch. And besides, he got a letter at college.
What sport?
Glee club.
Very strenuous.
Don't you dare hug me! Oh!
I have no intention of hugging you.
Ladies all look lovely, Catherine. You know, this is a real fine party.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Of course, we had to invite everybody. Just everybody.
Sorry, GW, but this one's mine.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Warren. I guess I'll have to be a good host in my own home.
Well, the next one's yours, Mr. McLintock.
Thank you.
Drago, go and do what I told you to do.
Oh, Katie.
Catherine, and do as you're told.
Oh, Drago, do this. Drago, do that. Yeah! People, people, people. This Douglas feller.
Drago!
Yes, ma'am. Matt Douglas, Jr. is going to bring you folks some of the latest terpsichorean dance steps, brand new, brought by him directly from New York City. All right, Mr. Fiddler.
Give me a whiskey.
Put Williams on board.
What?
Just turn a 10-gallon party, boss. We'll run out of whiskey.
Well, I can take care of that, Chief.
Indian.
still got any ideas about asking my sister to dance, get up and we can do this all over again.
Yes! That's enough. You fought it. It's all over. Quit butting in, Birnbaum. He's a hired man, not your son. Look, you fought him fair and square.
I don't think it was so fair and square.
Well, you want to take up where he left off?
If I did, you wouldn't find it so easy.
Now we've had enough of this. Well, when are you gonna quit walking away?
Just as soon as we're out of sight of the party. Little lesson I learned back home, don't fight in front of women.
Well, we're out of sight now.
So we are.
신년 오메데토 고자이마스.
Oh, bonjour, bon Noël.
Father Clouseau.
Huh?
I want the truth.
The truth. Who doesn't seek the truth? All of us, all men everywhere, all
Father.
through the ages.
You know very well what truth I mean.
Aïe! Mais comment est-ce que je pourrais vous mentir, chez Madame Yaka?
Young man?
I'm all right, Mr. McLintock.
Pretty fancy fighting for a country boy.
2 years at Purdue, Mr. McLintock.
On the boxing team. I never thought any farmer could whip me. You sure did.
Better get him cleaned up. Get him some water, Jake.
Yeah.
Get yourself cleaned up. Go ask that girl for a dance.
Who? Oh!
Did I miss one?
Oh.
Where is he? I'll find him, that young whippersnapper.
Trouble.
Where is that farmer boy? Where is he? Where is he, G.W.? Oh, so you're the young farmer boy that whipped my nephew. Well, I'm Fauntleroy Sage, young Ben's uncle.
Well, I'm no farmer, but if you're young Ben's uncle, yes, I whipped him. And you're intruding.
What's intruding mean?
Butting in.
Oh, so he's insulting me.
Well, then I got another reason for walloping. Besides, on account of him thrashing my nephew, young Ben.
Fauntleroy, you can't get mixed up in these youngsters' quarrel.
Family honor. I can't have said a farmer whipped a sage.
You're twice his size.
Don't let that bother you, Mr. McLintock. Mr. Fauntleroy insists. I'll just have to teach him the same lesson.
Say! Sorry, young feller. Hate to have to do that, young fella. No hard feelings.
Not yet.
Not yet what?
I mean, that isn't all.
Now, wait a minute. Fauntleroy, we're gonna make this a fair fight.
Of course we are. Of course we are, G.W.
There'll be none of this.
I wouldn't do that, G.W.
You wouldn't do...
No, I wouldn't do that.
And Dev, I don't want you kicking Fauntleroy in the knee.
He didn't do no such thing.
And none of this nose twisting. He's all yours.
Well, where are my glasses?
You all right, young feller?
Ouch! I'm all right. This Indian agent will stop stepping all over me.
I beg your pardon. G.W. You're just funning me. But I want you to know that boy fought me a fair fight.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Fauntleroy.
Here's my uncle. Fauntleroy, what have you been doing? I hope my uncle didn't bother anybody.
No bother.
I think we'd better join the ladies before they get curious. Drago.
Fauntleroy, let's line them all up for a do-si-do.
Jake, you think tincture of arnica would help?
Could be. Used to help you.
Gentlemen, to the medicine cabinet.
Good morning, Drago.
Morning, Davy.
You seen Daddy?
Took off early this morning with a scattergun over his arm. Went hunting.
Morning, Daddy.
Good afternoon. I'll get you out so early.
There's something I have to get straight in my mind.
Yeah? What?
Mama. Why'd you and Mama stop living together, Daddy? Why'd you separate? Aren't you going to answer me?
No,
It's sort of my business, I think.
I don't.
Is it another woman? Usually is.
At your age, you always know what's usual.
Is it Mrs. Warren?
Becky, I don't want to start laying the law down your first day back home. But I'll have no more such talk. First time I ever saw Mrs. Warren was last week. She has a job here at which she's very good. And I hope you'll have the good manners to not pry into other people's business. Your mother's and mine.
Pretty good shot, Daddy. Oh, I can understand your trouble. Mama's often so, well, so petulant.
Petulant? You learned a lot of words back east, Becky. Wish to God they'd have taught you some meanings. You were only about 6 months old when your mother stayed alone with you in a sod hut under 8 foot of snow, while I moved the herd 300 miles south to try and save it. Saved about half of it. You were a little more than a year old at the time of the great Comanche raids. We stood off 500 Plains Indians for 9 days. Petulant, Becky? I think you better go on home. See that Ching gets those birds. Becky! Come here. There's something I ought to tell you. I guess now's as good a time as any. You're gonna have every young buck west of the Missouri around here trying to marry you. Mostly because you're a handsome filly. But partly because I own everything in this country from here to there. They'll think you're gonna inherit it. Well, you're not. You're gonna leave most of it to, well, to the nation, really. For a park where no lumberman will cut down all the trees for houses with leaky roofs. Nobody will kill all the beaver for hats for dudes, nor murder the buffalo for robes. What I'm gonna give you is a 500-cow spread on the upper Green River. Now, that may not seem like much. It's more than we had, your mother and I. Some folks are gonna say I'm doing all this so I can sit up in the hereafter and look down on a park named after me. Or that I was disappointed in you. Didn't want you to get all that money. But the real reason, Becky, is because I love you. And I want you and some young man to have what I had. Because all the gold in the United States Treasury and all the harp music in heaven can't equal what happens between a man and a woman with all that growing together. I can't explain it any better than that.
All right, Daddy.
Becky. When you're as old as I am, you'll thank me for this.
Daddy, I'm full grown. I wasn't worrying about me. I was thinking about you and Mama.
The Navy Cross, 3 Purple Hearts.
Oh, no. No, not there. Here, where it is inquired, situation de famille. Observe what he writes.
Célibataire.
Célibataire. A bachelor. Donovan is an unmarried man. Well, there is our Mike Donovan. 3 children and not 1 marriage. Oh, I do not say he's the first man to put the cart before the horse, but 3 carts and no horse? Huh?
Unforgivable.
When I think how he has deceived you, playing upon your sympathies, pretending to be the finest of fathers, I could tear my beard out by the roots.
And it's such a beautiful beard.
Yes, isn't it? Oh, you'd be amazed if I told you how many women... well, that is not important. Tell me, chère Amélie, hasn't this revelation changed your affections towards Donovan?
Indeed it has. And for reasons you would never suspect.
It's getting rather late, Becky. It's bedtime.
Oh, Mother. He brought this. He must have intended to use it.
Oh, well.
Sing us a song.
Well, if you really want me to. Gosh, I haven't played in
You
quite
know just right for me.
Sure.
It's the rage now.
Oh.
Oh.
Dev, what are you doing?
Oh. I just thought I'd get another cigar.
Well, you've got 1 in your mouth and 2 burning in the tray. Not move.
Fellas want me to play all the time.
You're cuter than a baby steer, and softer than a mouse's ear. I want the whole wide world to hear. You're just right for me. You're sweeter than.
Oh, no, not that rhythm, Junior. Do it the way they do at the plaza. I know the words.
Sure, Becky. Will you sing with me?
Of course.
All right.
I love a man who's witty and smart and clever.
It's your move. Oh.
Oh, Deb, you're playing like an amateur. Let's call it an evening. I'd like to know where your mind is tonight.
You're sweeter than the early spring or bluebells when they start to
Pretty good. Voice like her father.
feel like a king. You're just right for me. Sweeter than honey, finer than wine. I'm sure they found you on that honeysuckle vine. I would melt in your embrace.
You disappear without a trace.
To die like this is no disgrace.
This is the time.
This is the place for you. Just right for me.
Well, that's so good, I kind of hate to break this up. But we're going to have that Indian hearing tomorrow morning.
Sir, about our conversation earlier this evening, I believe I'd better apologize.
Yeah?
Yes, sir, I've been thinking it over, and when I called you reactionary, well, that's merely my generation's term for your generation. Nothing personal, sir.
Oh, really?
Well, good night, sir. Good night, Miss McLintock.
Good night, and do come again.
Good night, Drago.
Night. Boss, what does reactionary mean?
Me, I guess. He says that anyone that wanted to sell at a profit was a reactionary.
Was we reactionaries back in them days when you was selling beef cattle for 6 cents a pound on the hoof?
Well, no use arguing with him. College boy.
Devlin Warren, if you was my kind of man, you wouldn't let some dude walk off with the prettiest girl west of Denver without putting up some kind of fight.
Does it show? Well, what can I do? I'm just one of her father's employees. I'm just a hired hand around here.
Every so often, Dev, you spill the strangest ideas. Everybody works for somebody. Me, I work for everybody in these United States that steps into a butcher's shop for a T-bone steak. And you work for me. There's not much difference.
Daddy, the most terrible thing just happened. Junior's horse ran away. The one he rented at the livery stable.
Tied up a rented horse by the reins. He's probably back in the stall by now.
I think we can get Junior something that he can ride.
What I'd rather do, Daddy, is drive Junior home in our barouche. It's a lovely evening, and I'm sure Uncle Drago wouldn't mind driving.
I would, and I got the kind of manners don't keep me from saying so, just to be polite.
I'll drive him home, Mr. McLintock. And you don't have to come, Miss Becky. I'll see that he gets home safely.
I can take care of myself.
You got yourself a foot, didn't you?
Dev, get the carriage. Drago?
I'm going with them.
Now you got me wrangling dudes.
You make a man feel like a king. You're just right for me.
Miss Becky, somebody better help me watch the road. You know, I'm new around here. Might take the wrong turn off.
Devlin Warren, you know there isn't a turnoff between here and town. You disappear without a trace.
To die like this is no disgrace.
This is time.
This is
Devlin Warren, what are you trying to do? Kill us?
Rather have your friend drive? Yeah!
Yeah!
said what I said, and I'll stand by it to the death.
Shoot him, Daddy. Shoot him at once.
Why?
My honor is at stake.
Well, now, Your Honor.
Absolutely. He impugned my honor.
Impugned? What does that mean?
Slander. He slandered my honor.
He did?
I said what I said, and I'll stand by it to the death.
He admits it, see? Shoot him.
Well, what is he admitting to?
Why, he called me a... I won't even repeat the word.
I didn't necessarily call you anything, but I said what I said, and I'll stand by it to the death.
Well, just for the tally books, what did you say?
I said that any girl who would permit a man to kiss her before they're formally engaged is a trollop.
He said it again. Shoot him.
Now, hold on.
No, don't hold on. If you're my father, if you love me, you'll shoot him.
Well, I'm your father, and I sure love you. So?
Oh, you shot him. You really shot him. Hey! He dies.
If he dies, he'll be the first man ever killed with a blank cartridge. We use this to start the races on the 4th.
Hey! I'm on fire!
Oh, you poor dear.
Poor dear? You'd have had me shot in cold blood.
But it didn't happen.
Yelling I insulted you and all. What you need is a good spanking.
Deb! Daddy!
Leave me out of this.
I think I'll give you what you deserve.
You wouldn't dare!
Oh, wouldn't I?
Oh!
You'll think next time before you have someone shot. And this kicking and yelling isn't gonna help you.
Don't you! Oh, Daddy! Wait a minute! Daddy! Oh, no! Oh, Daddy! Help me! Don't! Daddy! Mommy! I hate you! Mommy! Mommy! Oh, G.W., was that a shot? Oh, Vicky, what happened? He spanked me.
You spanked my daughter?
Dev.
You mean you stood there while that brute beat our daughter? G.W., what's happened to you in the last 2 years?
Part of valor, son.
Oh, isn't it enough that you've always treated me like a squaw without subjecting dear, sweet Becky to this crude, vulgar way of
Catherine,
life?
you women are always raising hell about one thing when it's something else you're really sore about.
Oh.
Don't you think it's about time you told me what put the burr under your saddle about me?
I don't intend to stand here and hold a midnight conversation with an intoxicated man.
And I am not intoxicated. Yet.
Place is out of bounds. Why, now, you're all going to the garden parties.
What about the beer?
There's license of drinks here. There's orangeade and lemonade.
And papayade.
Iced tea.
Iced tea?
Now show off like the nice little gentleman you are. Come on now.
Oh, no, no, no.
It's all right. Let's have some service here.
Come on, put a move on.
Hey, barman, how about a couple of bottles of beer?
That's right. Come on, let's have some beer.
Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he watched, and he waited till his belly boiled. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
All right, the joint's closed. Why don't you limey shove off?
Limeys?
I distinctly heard him say that. Limeys.
Limeys, he said. I beg your pardon, sir. Did I understand you to say limeys?
I heard him. Me too.
Gilholy, where the hell is my suit?
Stay out of this, little man. You might get hurt.
You guys, looking for trouble?
Tipperary born and bred limeys.
Monk, you're not gonna let 3 guys gang up on 1 guy, even if it is Gil Hooley.
I seen it done. 3 against 2.
Me? It's the holidays, Christmas. Have a drink.
I will.
On the house. Look, we're noble allies. Coral Seas, we were with you.
He's got a point.
Yeah, definite point.
Ah, my apologies to you, sir, and a Merry Christmas.
Yes, and a Happy New Year to us all.
Festus! My little brother. Festus, we're having a sporting event. Turn your hat around. You are now a Yank. 3 against 2.
Such vulgarity. Someone should do something about it.
Hey, guards!
Oh, shut up.
Festus, you're a Yank! Festus! Festus!
Let's have a beer.
Oh, Grandpa, I'm sorry about the piano.
Don't worry about the piano. It's the holidays. What's the piano, Monk?
Oh, that's a good one, huh? Peace on earth and goodwill to men.
Peace on earth, goodwill to men.
Oi! Free beer! Free beer! Free beer! Free beer!
I told you limeys to get out of here. Why aren't you at the garden party, you heathen?
Oh, knock it off, fellas. It's a holiday. Peace on earth. That'll get you a fat lip. Free beer.
Hey, quit it! Look out there! What are you doing? What are you doing?
杨贵先生，大声嚟，杨贵。多謝，大聲嚟。
Who started it?
I did, sir. Respectfully.
See you on the mat in the morning.
Aye, sir.
Mr. McCuddy. Getting on.
Left! Turn! Quick! March! Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
Gil Hooley. Gil Hooley?
Gil Hooley. Gil Hooley.
Gil Hooley.
Oh, sugar pie.
Pardon me, Padre. Is this, yours?
Ah non, c'est la boîte à jukes. Jukebox, music. Comme ça, regardez. Voilà, music.
Chief, Puma?
Yes, Sergeant. Big McLintock, we know you get us fair judgment.
You gentlemen, follow me.
Well, Jake?
GW? Well, GW, it's been a long time.
Not long enough. Cuthbert.
Your husband is a rude man.
Yes, Cuthbert, I know.
Where you want the Indians, Mr. McLintock?
Mr. McLintock is not running this hearing.
Sergeant, seat those Indians.
Yes. Gentlemen, be seated. You know, the whole tribe here want to come into town.
Proceed, Lieutenant.
This hearing is now in session. Governor Cuthbert Humphreys presiding.
Good luck, Daddy.
Afraid it's a packed court.
Government Edict number 826 has ordered that the Comanche Nation be transferred from their present reservation to Fort Sill. It is the government's claim, as filed by Indian Agent Agard, that these chiefs, after being released from prison by a kindly government, did then rouse and incite defiance among the tribe against said order. It seems, gentlemen, that although some of these chiefs speak English, Chief Puma is quite at home in our language, they have chosen Mr. McLintock to be their spokesman.
I speak for the Comanche. Or rather, I offer this translation.
Proceed, Mr. McLintock.
The Comanche say, we are an old people and a proud people. When the white man first came among us, we were as many as the grass is of the prairie. Now we are few, but we are still proud. For if a man loses pride in manhood, he is nothing. You tell us now that if we will let you send us away to this place called Fort Sill, you will feed us and care for us. Let us tell you this. It is a Comanche law that no chief ever eats unless first he sees that the pots are full of meat in the lodges of the widows and orphans. It is the Comanche way of life. This that the white man calls charity is a fine thing for widows and orphans, but no warrior can accept it. For if he does, he is no longer a man. And when he is no longer a man, he is nothing, and better off dead. You say to the Comanche, you are widows and orphans. You are not men. And we, the Comanche, say we would rather be dead. It will not be a remembered fight when you kill us, because we are few now and have few weapons. But we will fight, and we will die Comanche.
Thank you, Big McLintock.
Am I to gather that Comanche defy the government of the United States?
Yes, you may gather that the Comanche defy the United States government, or at least this commission.
Gentlemen, sit down to your evening chores. It is the order of this court that these chiefs be incarcerated until such time as the detachment of United States cavalry be made available to escort them and the Comanche Nation to Fort Sill. This court is adjourned.
Oh, McLintock! You are important chief amongst these white people. Sway them. Have them give us few guns to make the fight worthwhile. Let us have one last remembered fight for end of Comanche.
I almost wish I could arrange that, Puma. Ahalani cha.
Ahalani cha.
Sergeant.
Yes. Good God. Carry on. Gentlemen.
sad, these changing times.
It isn't the times that are changing, Mama.
Hi, GW.
Hello, Lem. Bunny?
Oh, howdy, McLintock. Hey, figured you'd be belly down drunk by now.
I've been doing some drinking, Bunny. Is that boxcar still on the siding?
Well, sure, but...
But what?
Well, I don't like it.
You don't, eh?
You figure if them Indians get out there and lead the cavalry on a wild goose chase, that great white father's going to get nosy.
Get nosy, and he'll investigate. And when they find out how that side-saddle governor's been messing things up, they'll give those Indians a fair trial.
That's live ammunition in that boxcar. You know what'll happen if them Indians get some guns in their hands? Somebody's going to get hurt.
Is Puma's word good enough for you?
Well, I don't... McLintock, you got yourself a partner.
Leave me out of this.
Hey, McLintock.
Good night, Bunny. Good night, Governor.
Put your hat on, you brat! Ah, shut up!
Andre, has anyone ever told you you're the biggest louse in the world?
Heredity. My family was always known as the biggest louses.
Lice.
Lice?
On the Loire.
Pardon. Protocol.
Ali malama lama eno haupu ananaki ano le ay.
I'm sorry I'm late.
Twins?
Tonsils.
Your Highness.
And a visitor to our island paradise.
Your sister Amelia.
Amelia.
Sweet. Well, brother of mine, what are you so unhappy about?
My pants are too tight. Look.
Thank you.
Kennedys will be furious. As for the Donovans, oh, that man.
Summer air, I'll find her somewhere while the moon is high, and tell her that I love her, and I'll love her till I die. Katie! Katie Gilhooly! Come master's home! Katie! Katie! Catherine Gilhooly McLintock! Where's the woman of the house?
Mr. McClintock.
Oh, there you are. Mrs. Warren. Oh, good evening.
I waited up for you, Mr. McClintock.
Oh, how nice.
I want to talk to you about something.
Delighted, delighted. 309 times straight.
I beg your pardon?
309 times straight without a miss. Gotta be a record.
I suppose so. Now, Mr. McClintock, what I wanted to say...
2-pound Stetson, 6-inch brim, 53 feet in the air. It's gotta be a record.
I'm sure it is, but the reason I waited up...
Damn it, woman, can't you hold that glass still?
Of course, sir.
Now, down the hatch to my world's record. Down the hatch.
Yes, sir.
And now, to the governor of our territory.
The governor of the territory, sir?
Now, don't you stick up for him, Mrs. Warren. You're a fine woman, Mrs. Warren. But you'll certainly go down in my estimation if you stick up for Cuthbert H. Humphrey, governor of this territory.
I don't mean to
Down
change...
the hatch.
Oh, yes, sir. Down the hatch.
Cuthbert H. Humphrey, governor of our territory, is a cow. You know what a cow is, man? A cow is a specimen that is so worthless that you have to cut him out of the herd. Now, if all the people in the world were put in one herd, Cuthbert is the one I would throw my rope at. At whom I would throw my rope at. Natural-born cow. Another touch, ma'am?
Oh, no, sir, no. Well, I don't mind if I do.
Good. Can't walk on one leg. Oh, I didn't mean to be vulgar, ma'am. Can't walk one limb.
It's all right.
Sounds silly. Only a bird can walk on a limb. You know my wife? Her name's Kate. She insists on being called Catherine. Do you know her?
Of course, Mr. McClintock, and that's what I wanted to talk
Well,
to you.
she thinks that Cuthbert H. Humphrey is panting for her like a bull buffalo at the first green up of spring. But what Cuthbert is panting for is my money.
Don't make me feel like I'm drinking alone, ma'am.
Very well, Mr. McLintock, if you insist. Down the hatch.
Good.
Mr. McLintock, I have something very important to say to you. Very important. Guess it'll have to wait till the morning. Toodle. Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Betty, bye-bye. Whoops. Oh.
Mrs. Warren. Let me assist you.
Very kind.
Whoops. What's going on here?
Now, Catherine, are you going to believe what you see or what I tell you?
Mrs. McLintock, hope you won't misunderstand.
It's the first 100 women sitting on his lap that I misunderstood. Number 101 is quite simple. Now, G.W. McLintock, I have something. He's gone to sleep. Just when I know exactly what I want to say to him, he goes to sleep.
I waited up to talk to Mr. McLintock. I wanted to tell him I was quitting. You see, Sheriff Lord has asked me to marry him, and...
Oh, congratulations. I don't want to seem prudish, but if you are going to marry Sheriff Lord, it seems to me that you're sitting on the wrong man's lap. Come on, I'll help you upstairs and we'll have a long talk about men in general.
Ladies, one moment.
Oh! Watch out, you'll get us all killed.
Oh! What? Wait a minute, ladies, till I catch my breath, and I'll get you up those stairs as sure as my name is George Washington McLintock.
You may be quitting, Mrs. Wallace, Mrs. Ward, but not tomorrow. I want my breakfast in bed. I want to...
I know, toast, lightly brown.
Somebody sure put a knob on my skull.
Here's Katie. I'm speaking.
Katie, why?
There Mrs. Warren was there.
Oh.
And there you was there.
Oh.
And there that whiskey bottle was there.
Oh.
And Katie's temper being what Katie's temper is, well, there you are.
Drago, old friend.
Huh?
My wife does not understand me.
Why, she be different than the other man. Come on, I gotta get you upstairs. Get you ready for that big celebration tomorrow.
What? Drago, I am sleeping in the den.
Come on, get him aboard. Is everybody ready?
Man in number 5 needs a flank cinch.
Get him one.
Let us know when you're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you the governor of our territory, Cuthbert H. Humphreys.
Thank you, Mayor. My friends and citizens of this great territory, this is the 9th consecutive year. It has been my privilege and my pleasure to inaugurate the McLintock 4th of July celebration. Now, the first event will be the wild horse race. But before I fire this shot to start the event, I would like to say a few modest words regarding my stewardship of this great territory.
Professor Birnbaum.
Gentlemen.
Sheriff, there's your horse. Come on, get them all lined up. Come here, King. Now, boys, you all know the rules. It's twice around the inside, once around the outside. First cowboy that hits that finish line without busting that egg is the winner. And I caution you boys about some of them eggs, because some of them eggs are last year's holdovers. All right, mount up.
Catherine, my dear, you seem to be enjoying yourself.
Oh, yes. This is wonderful. It's the only thing I really do enjoy about this barbaric country, the 4th of July celebration.
Well, Catherine, I've been here for 3 days. I haven't heard from you. Is anything wrong?
Wrong?
Well, I just hope that it hasn't been necessary for you to say anything to G.W.
What are you talking about?
Well, Catherine, you see, I'm in a rather delicate position, being governor of the territory and all. I just hope you haven't found it necessary to say anything about...
About what?
About you and me.
Why, you pompous windbag. Do you think that you're the only man who's ever tried to play patty fingers with me, who's ever tried to lure me into the moonlight?
Well, no, but I...
Well, I'm a big girl, and I can take care of myself. My husband knows it. I can assure you, Governor, that your reputation is untarnished. Now, get out of my way.
Curly Fletcher!
Muzzles up, Curly!
Give me the egg.
Disqualified.
Here you go, Curly.
G.W., you'll never believe what happened over there.
What?
You smell of beer.
Well, naturally, I'm drinking beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next event will be a contest between the two bronco-busting champions of our territory.
Remember the year I rode in that event?
Wore your garters to hold up my sleeves? We had a bet, and I won it.
George Washington McLintock, you are a very crude man.
Well, I guess so, but that was a rough horse, like to jarred my insides loose. But it was worth it. 3 beers.
So, nothing busted but my pride.
Well, that ought to even things up, Farmer.
For what?
Well, that sore nose you gave me the other day.
Well, that ain't what's sore on him. The closing event is the cow pony race. The finish line is at the barbecue. So start meandering. Come on.
Now what is that, false courage? Why, you know a Douglas doesn't ever use a thing like that. I want you to get on that horse, get out in front, and stay out in front.
I'll be out front, Dad. All the way.
Good boy. Now remember, stay out in front. That Agamemnon's a good horse.
Oh, Agamemnon.
11:40 and she's on time.
Oh, boy.
Whose idea was this stunt?
God doggone it, I'm a real bull.
excitement you'd want for one 4th of July, eh?
Puma finally got his way, but I reckon he's riding out his last war party.
He won't get very far.
But one thing still has me puzzled. Where did they get the guns?
I was wondering the same thing.
My kidney's been bothering me.
Bunny?
GW. What an idiotic joke.
Joke? Do you think that was a joke?
Oh, shut up. You want everybody in town to see me.
You look good in feathers.
Oh.
Dev, I think they've gone.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
What can I do?
Nothing. Just like you've always done.
How long, GW?
How long what?
Cat.
She's been riding herd on you for 2 years now.
I'm a peaceable man. But my father used to say, you raise your voice, it doesn't do any good. It's time to raise your hand.
Well, I've been planning to do something about it. I'll have another talk with her.
Talk to her? Talk to her? Talking won't do any good.
Becky, have you seen your... What's been happening around here? You've got hay all over you.
Been some mighty sneaky goings-on here during that raid, Mr. McLintock.
Who was it said only a trollop would kiss a man before they were formally engaged?
Oh, but we are engaged, sir.
You are?
That is, with your permission.
Well, you've got it. Oh, Mrs. Warren?
I think it's wonderful.
I guess this is the only engagement that ever started off of a spanking.
Mm-hmm. I reckon Birnbaum is right.
All right.
Lord bless us, this is going to be a great day.
Doggone it, folks. Let's don't let a little old Indian raid break up a good barbecue and a rodeo. The meat sound. Let's go.
You contestants, get ready for the cow pony race.
Oh, mademoiselle, look! A miracle! A new roof for the chapel.
I'm very happy for you, Father. Miss LaFleur, Merry Christmas.
Oh, thanks,
And
honey.
I think this will amuse you, Mr. Gildersleeve. And Mr. Donovan?
He's dressing for the
Thank
garden.
you.
Hey, what's all the rush about?
Mr. Donovan, of all the selfish, stupid, evil, poisonous people.
Who?
You.
Me?
Yes, you.
Well, that's a fine how do you do on Christmas Day.
Exactly. And just how do you think those children feel, driven out of their own home as if their own father's ashamed of them?
Well, you've got this thing a little twisted, haven't you?
Oh, no, I have not.
You were the one we were worried about.
Me?
We didn't know whether some old maid had come out here.
Me?
Yes, you went around with your nose turned up at everybody and everything until I made a human being out of you.
You made a human being.
Yes, I made a human being.
May I ask how? Let go of me! What? Oh!
That's how.
Oh, you! Oh, me! Oh, Miss Dedham. You're quite welcome. Tommy, now you've got to marry me.
Sure, baby. Sure.
Who is it?
It's me. Let me in.
Not now.
Right now.
Are you insane?
I want to talk to you.
It'll have to wait.
I've taken all I'm going to take from you.
You are insane!
You are going to tell me why you packed up, picked up, and walked out on me.
2 years ago, you remember, you came home from Denver with lipstick all over your...
Lipstick on my collar.
I've got the shirts to prove it.
Who cares?
Why, you big...
GW, you are a ruffian.
Cuthbert, you are right.
Well, what kind of a family is that?
The best.
And dangerous, son.
Who won the race?
Who cares, Ingrid? History's being made.
Yes, Rufus?
I regret to inform you I've changed my mind about matrimony.
Hey, Mrs. McLintock!
Catherine!
Keep him out of here.
Everybody out! Looks like GW's buying out the whole store. I'm afraid you're right.
Call me family! Call me family!
Oh, Mrs. McLintock, you're all wet.
Wrong woman, GW.
Oh, pardon me.
fight all you want. It won't do you any good. You've been digging those burrs into me for 2 years. Now you're gonna get your comeuppance. Thanks.
My father would be proud of you.
I'll make you prouder. Keep it. You may need it. Now get your divorce. Home. Don't spare the horse. Home. You heard me.
Don't think you're going to get rid of me that easy.
Yeah. In the capital?
No.
No more Newport in season?
Nope.
No more dancing at the governor's ball?
No, GW.
Happy day!
Oh, sacré nom de...
Aren't you going to say goodbye to Uncle Guns?
Mr. Donovan? No, I am not.
No guts, huh? Amelia.
Not again.
Michael! Michael Donovan!
Did you hurt yourself?
You know I'm leaving for home today.
Oh, I heard.
Michael, if what you said is true, and if I marry you, I don't want our children growing up knowing that their father is a saloon keeper.
I gave it to him for a wedding present. Pax?
Pax.
A marriage made in heaven. Amelia, if I were to consent to marry you...
If you were
And if we were to be blessed with children, and if the first should be a boy, he will be called Francis X. Donovan, after my father.
He will be called Sedley Atterbury Dedham after my great uncle.
Sedley Atterbury, that's a hell of a name for a Donovan.
Michael. We'll call him William after my father.
After the doc? That's swell. I'll call him Bill.
Pax.
Pax. Amelia, you have a mean Irish temper, but I love it. From now on, I wear the pack in this town.
$310 times without a miss. That's a record.